Ba-da-ba-bam-bam. Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo!
Woo for Josh.
That was the best jingle I've ever heard.
Really?
No, but it was still pretty good.
I
do
was
Josh
so
like that.
happy.
Even though the two best Banger Management hosts are here right now, I still can't do Josh dirty like that.
That's cool. That's cool. The man can sing. We got to give it to him there. Welcome in to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast with Jake and Kevin, the two best hosts of Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey
I agree.
Podcast. Yeah. Today, our Week 15 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. I'm just kidding, Josh. You know we love you.
Yes.
Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars. If you like what you hear, you can see all the socials in the podcast description, as well as the Discord community. Definitely join that. A lot of fun vibes in there.
Yeah, if you've been listening to all these episodes and you're still not on the YouTube, still not on the Discord, like what are you doing? You're missing out on so much pleasure out here. You should join. Yeah.
You said that very interestingly. Subscribe on YouTube. Give this video a like if you enjoy. Before we dive in, let's talk about our giveaway.
Yes, if you listen to the previous episode, you are already aware, but we are doing a giveaway with DobberHockey, pillar of the industry. If you've been following fantasy hockey for any amount of time, you've stumbled on any kind of resource they have. They do amazing work, some of the best in the business. And they gave us 10 to 15 mid-season guides to give away to our fans, the Banger Management community. And to be entered in this giveaway, all you got to do, join that YouTube. Subscribe there. You'll be entered. You got to subscribe. You got to join the Discord. And once you've done both of those things, in the Discord, there's a giveaway channel. All you got to do is go type Dobber in that giveaway channel. And then Sunday, January 18th at 7 p.m., entries close. We run a randomizer and we will give away all the copies for the 2026 midseason DobberHockey Guide. And if you don't end up winning, don't forget, you can also go check out the guide on their website. It's on sale right now. It's a great resource. If you love fantasy hockey, you'll love this resource. So highly encourage it. And listen, just a little way to give back to the Bang Gang out here for the second half of the fantasy season. Who doesn't love a good giveaway?
Very exciting stuff indeed. So let's start with our hot topics. Number 1, we got Dougie Hamilton. He was scratched. There are trade rumors. We touched on this a bit in our previous Week 15 news and updates episode, and Would You Rathers, of course. My thing I wanted to... I didn't want to dive too much into it because I wanted to sort of, leave some time here. I knew we were going to talk about this because it is a quite hot topic. But imagine for a second, and I don't know if the timing necessarily lines up, so don't fact check me on this, but if Dougie Hamilton listened to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast, and realized that halfway through the season, a little more than halfway through the season actually, that the Sharks would have 49 points and the Devils would be at 48. So he waived he didn't want to get traded to the Sharks, essentially. He said, nope, I'm not going there. And basically, I think that would have been such an amazing fit for him. Klingberg has been on and off all year, and I really think he's way past his prime. He's not a solid power play one defenseman. And I mean, we talk about talismanic all the time. Celebrini's just on another level. I think he should be in the Hart Trophy conversation. Very sad because I traded him away, but that's he's been unbelievable. If they make the playoffs, I really think he should be the guy. But hey, anyways, all this to say that would have been a great landing spot for him. As far as the current situation at hand goes, it's tough. It's really brutal if you're a Dougie owner. I don't know what kind of value he has for fantasy if he remains on the Devils. I don't think any, really. I think he could be dropped in most leagues. But wherever he gets traded, hopefully he does. I actually think that it can't get worse than this, so things will be looking up for him.
Yeah, I mean, the situation right now is he got scratched for a game, then they brought him back for the game after, and he got 2 assists, so he actually looked pretty good on the ice. The issue has never been, like, his on-ice play. I think the offense has definitely slowed down, but his defense has gotten better, so I think it was just kinda like he changed his game a little bit to suit the team and what they wanted, but I'm not saying he's getting scapegoated here, he's definitely not the same player that he's always been, but, this New Jersey situation is really bad, and I think a trade feels inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
And he's got a no move clause, and I think there's only 10 teams on the list that he can go to, but it looks like on those 10 teams, there's not many teams that are right now. We don't know what the teams are, obviously, but something it's not easy, right? Or else something would have happened already. It feels like, but as the situation gets more dire, it feels like he's widening the list of teams that he'd be willing to go for. Maybe the Sharks end up being a team that he gives the okay for. Maybe he just doesn't want to be on the West Coast. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if he goes to the Sharks, that'd be a crazy situation because I think he would be sick there. Him and Celebrini on the power play would be nuts.
Yeah.
Other potential destinations. I mean, if you listen on some of the recent episodes, Josh said that he had a dream that Dougie got traded to the St. Louis Blues. So maybe that's in the cards. They could definitely use him. But he's going to go to a team that needs a power play quarterback. So I feel like no matter where he gets traded, his value will go up. Can't go lower. Can't get worse than what it's right now. So
Yeah.
if you have Dougie, I'm trying to hold and be patient. I haven't been in the league and I've held all year through the major lows that he's been through. Um, Hopefully he doesn't keep getting scratched, but if he does, hopefully you can IR plus. Last time he got scratched, they didn't even give him out designation on Yahoo, so you couldn't IR plus him, which is crazy. Um, but a trade feels inevitable before the Olympic break is my guess. I'm just very curious to see which team he goes to, but the value can only go up. It feels like so.
Yeah.
Both going up for Dougie Hamilton. It feels like.
Yeah.
If I say
Okay.
it feels like one more time, just do something to me that I can't say on the podcast.
To be fair, I didn't think that the Sharks would be better than the Devils, but I had the Sharks not finishing bottom of their division, so that's why I said that Dougie should have listened to our podcast, and then maybe he would have had a different outlook on this.
They've been so bad,
And
but they're still in the playoff convo. Like that's why they can still actually make moves for this season and
the
getting
Devils?
Dougie off the roster. Yeah, the Devils.
Yeah.
The East is so wide open, so they're not out of it yet. And I feel like either coaching changes to happen or a major trade, and let's make things happen, Devils.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next, we got John Gibson. We touched on that a little bit in the Would You Rather section of the last episode. But, kind of to reiterate that, he's been on absolute fire. His percentages are off the charts. Detroit's a very good team. I think that it's a great opportunity to sell high if you can, because you said it, right? He's been squishy in the past. He's had some injury issues. That's probably why it took him so long to get traded from Anaheim. That being said, it's obviously encouraging to see. I think Detroit's going to make the playoffs, and I think as time goes on, I mean, I'm just basically reiterating what I was saying, but he's going to get less and less playing time once they secure a playoff spot. So that's my concern, in addition to the fact that this is just a ridiculous stretch.
Yeah. I mean, I think, listen, Detroit is a good team. I'm not going to say they're the most amazing team, but the East is I want to say pretty weak right now. There's a lot of teams that are not playing at their full potential, and Detroit is taking advantage of that. Like we've seen them be a team in the past that starts hot and then kind of falters off, and they don't make the playoffs. So maybe this is the year that they finally are able to capitalize on the situation around them being weaker, right? And John Gibson, we know, listen, he's older than he was in the past. I feel like he was the guy that was supposed to be traded every year for the last 5 years. Never happened until the offseason. Anticlimactic. But right now he's playing out of his mind, guys. He's playing like an insane person. And for fantasy, it's amazing. He's won like 80% of his games. The percentages have been great. He'll get you a shutout. But do I think this is sustainable? No. If any goalie were performing at this level, I'd recommend them as a sell high. I did, in fact, do this with like Saros recently, with Demko recently, and those paid off. I think John Gibson right now is the next goalie up. Sell him while you can. I don't think he's going to fall off like the other guys did, but you know what, John Gibson, there's always an injury in the back of your mind as potential, and you can maybe get a great goalie rest of season if you trade him. So that's kind of my take on him. I still like him as a top 15 goalie rest of season if healthy. And if you pick them up off waivers, you're happy right now. You're getting great production, but capitalize on that. Get another guy.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And then there is the name value, right? Like that's also something. John Gibson has been an elite goalie, so I really think you can sell him and should. Then we got the Artemi Panarin trade rumors. Yeah, Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, Rangers have a great playoff schedule. Josh, Kevin, and I were talking about this, and when Josh first mentioned the trade rumors, you were like, "If he gets traded, I'm cooked." Now I get it, but we kind of speak about different tiers of guys who get traded, and like are kind of guaranteed for success. Barring the Carolina destination, that changes everything in the equation. I really don't think, and Panarin's been pretty decent as of late, but I really don't think that he's going to be horrible if he goes to another team. You know, like if he goes to the
Like,
Habs, he could be
he's been
great. If he
more than
goes to
pretty
Detroit,
decent. Like he's been
yeah, he's
elite
been
over the last
awesome.
month.
Yeah, and no, I don't think the elite stats that he's had would necessarily keep up if he goes elsewhere. That being said, I don't think he's the type of guy that like, oh no, I can't believe he got traded to another team. Now I'm screwed.
Yeah. The main issue is, I mean, I was being hyperbolic in the group chat because
Yeah.
I definitely won't be cooked if he gets traded, but I drafted Panarin with the intention of having him on roster for the playoffs because that Rangers playoff schedule is just so elite. So I'll be
Mhm.
disappointed that he doesn't have that 4-4-4 anymore. But Panarin is the type of player that could succeed no matter where he goes. And these trade rumors, like honestly, like the situation has not really changed. It's just we're further into the season, and the Rangers have not shown themselves to be a capable team yet. So he's the biggest name on the free agent market going into next year. So either they lock him down or they trade him, and they're not going to lock him down because he wants term. So they're not going to lock him down if they're not in the playoff picture. And as we get further to the trade deadline, they're going to have decisions to make. It's really going to be if they have conviction on being a playoff team or not. And right now, listen, it's not looking good for them, but it's the East, so anything can happen. If I have Panarin, and I do have Panarin, I'm trying to shop him right now because he's been elite. He's gonna be elite. He's an amazing player, but if you can capitalize on his recent production, because he's been like 2 points per game over the last month almost, like you're not selling him on the fact that he's gonna fall off the face of the earth, but maybe you get another player that is lateral that has a safer playoff schedule if you really want to do that. But also, like I'm probably not going to sell him. I'm probably just gonna keep him and then hope the Rangers make the playoffs and he ends up on the Rangers for that playoff schedule because I think he'll be great. And it's just like if he gets traded, just hoping it's not Carolina and that's that.
Would you trade Panarin for JT?
No, I'd much rather have Panarin.
I get it. I feel like it's
Yeah.
worth asking because like JT should be on the Rangers,
No,
but
it's definitely JT will definitely be on the Rangers, that's for sure.
yeah,
But in a banger league, I can get it, but Panarin will just he'll get too many more points than JT to
yeah,
make that swap, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
He's
like
only
you picked Panarin mid second round, and like at
yeah.
this point, like you're probably wanting to upgrade to like a first round type guy, which he has been in the past. It's funny, you used to hate him, but
I know.
like it's interesting how like would you trade him for Celebrini?
I mean, if I can make that happen, yeah.
I
But I
mean,
don't think the Celebrini owner would do that.
no, we know the Celebrini owner won't do
Yeah.
that. But anyway, I like it. I think it's a sell in its own right. I wouldn't read too much into the trade rumors as factoring into the sell, but it's sort of like a nice cherry on top.
Yeah,
So
like
if
I
you
don't think
are
his value
the
goes to zero if he gets traded. That's why I'm not like desperate to get him off. But a change of
yeah
situation brings up a lot of volatility, and that volatility could go either way. So it
yeah
becomes a
yeah
riskier situation. But listen, he's doing what he's doing right now on the Rangers, who are a subpar team. It feels like. So
yes
there's a chance that he goes to another team that's better. Like the rumors that I'm seeing are like Florida is in the mix,
yeah
Washington is in the mix. Carolina is in the mix. So these teams are looking to bolster their attack. And if he went to like Florida, I'd be psyched, to be honest. Like, yeah, the
yeah
playoff schedule is worse, but he's playing with star talent there, and he could be one of the main guys. If he
huge,
goes to
yeah,
Washington, the same thing. Like we're playing with Ovechkin, like that'd honestly be pretty sick.
that'd be
So
amazing.
and we heard Elliot Friedman say that Washington is a team that Russians like to go play for. So
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
putting it out there.
and last but not least, like the selling part of it. I mean, 1.83 points per game in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like
he's insane.
that's wild. Like you're
Yeah.
super happy, but yeah, I mean,
And it's not
it's
crazy for him to
interesting.
do that. Like he's a phenomenal player, and that's
He
why you
is.
drafted him so high.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next, Linus Ullmark. There's been a lot of insane rumors from the Senators. I mean, yeah, is he a buy low? Is he in a void? I'm leaning a void. I just like there's so many. Other than Zetterlund, everything's been okay.
Jakey has
But
a love affair with Zetterlund. Like he got him in
yes.
the Celebrini trade, and he's been trying to hold on for dear life. And I feel like every time Jakey's about to drop him, he scores a goal or he gets a point or something, and he's like, he keeps making me come back for more.
That's it. It's like, I never doubted you, Fabian. 3 games later, straight zeros. It's like, all right, drop. Damn, 4 hits. 4 hits, a goal, 2 shots. Like so keep up the good work, Fabian, but stop with the emotional roller coasters. As far as the rest of this goes, I mean, I think the Sens are in a, as you said, the East is wide open insofar as, like, even though they're the bottom of the Atlantic, I mean, it's not horrible. It's not insurmountable. I mean, look at the Jets trying to get to the top of the Central is basically impossible.
It's impossible.
And same with the Canucks. And whereas for the Senators, there's only 15 points that separate the top team from the bottom team, and the Sens have played 3 less games than the Red Wings, who are sitting atop. So it's totally wide open. I'm definitely not counting them out. That being said, like, if you buy low, you got to buy like real low here. I don't like it. I don't like the Sens situation. I still think their top players are their top players, and you're happy with it. Great playoff schedule, but him particularly, Ullmark, even before all the issues, like, he was not having a good season. So I'm on the avoid train.
I'm definitely still interested, but as a buy low, obviously, and like he has little to no trade value as we speak. So if you're trading anybody, like, that's the highest I would trade is a guy that's like slightly above waiver wire value in your league. Just because the other manager probably, if they're still holding on, they're probably not trading him for a guy that is just as valuable as a guy on waivers. So like the bare minimum is basically what I would trade for him, because I do think that Ottawa has better days ahead. You know, the tumultuousness of the situation doesn't do well for the players' heads off the ice, and it affects their play on the ice. But once this whole shabacle is behind them, I think they start playing better. They have a talented team, and also rumors are that they're looking to bolster their attack as well. Imagine they get Panarin. That'd be pretty sick. I'd once again have 4 Ottawa Senators on my team. Do I think that's the most likely destination? No. But the big issue now is, like, Ullmark, he's had a roller coaster of a year, and yet, like, he's still by far their best goalie. They don't have anybody. Like, they're turning to 37-year-old James Reimer coming out of retirement to help them right now. So the last reports that I'm seeing is Ullmark is in the arena, like, he's in the rink, he's around the game. So I think his return is, around the corners. I want to put it out there, but I don't want to bet my house on it. So if I could get him for cheap, I would do it. And then just see, like, I think the Sens bounce back when he comes back. So that's my take on it. But I don't hate avoiding him too, and I'm not giving any kind of substantialness to him, if that's what it's gonna take,
Yeah, like, I'm taking him over Binnington.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take him over Lankinen. I'll probably take him over. Anyway, spoiler alert, I won't say the last name. That's on our list, but
would you give maybe you have it a Kira Schmid or something, and you're like, okay, here's the biggest starter for the moment. I'll stash Ullmark until he comes back, type of thing.
I'll take him over one of the Canadians trios. You know what I mean? Like, like that too. But like, then when you're dealing, like, I'm taking Jet Greaves over him for sure.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Sorokin, Hofer. Hofer, I would take Ullmark.
I would take Ullmark over any St. Louis goalie.
But the fact, I would take Bussy over Ullmark.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's bad.
Askarov over Ullmark, and Askarov has been, like, not great. People are dropping him, which is understandable. But, like, I would rather have Askarov over Ullmark.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. One more name, Ingram.
I'd rather have Ullmark for sure. Tristan Jarry just got activated, so he's healthy, and as you're listening to this, he's already played at least a game. So Ingram may get sent down. Like, they were recording this. The Oilers have a few days to send him down before it would take him going through waivers to be sent down, and I don't think they want to do that. So I think they're going to send him down before that, and then it'll just end up being Jarry and Picard. But yeah, anyways.
All right, and then the last name. This is the one that I was gonna mention. Stuart Skinner. Just to open with that, would you rather Ullmark or Skinner?
Honestly, that's close, because I think Skinner is kind of like, he's actually playing pretty well. Like, let's start with Skinner. Yeah. And just the fact that, like, he had an awful start to his Penguins career, and The only thing that saved the trade was that Jari was literally hurt, so he was literally not playing hockey. But now it feels like, Skinner is getting some good performances under his belt, and the Penguins are actually winning games again. And he's looking good out there. So I'm optimistic for his production rest of season. I'm curious to see how the split goes between him and Shilovs because they're kind of rotating right now. But I think he has good games in him right now, and I feel like the less pressure on his shoulders, the better he plays.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for him as a human being, and maybe less criticism. But do I rather him over Ullmark rest of season? I feel like I'd take the chance on the ceiling that comes with Ullmark as like a more cemented starter because he doesn't have a Shilovs behind him splitting starts with him. But are the Penguins better than the Ottawa Senators rest of the season? Like, it's in the realm of outcomes, right? Like, it's kind of like giving up on the sure thing for the potential of a slightly better thing. So it just depends on how you play and what your comfortability is with risk. What about you?
I'm probably going to take Ullmark here because I think that they're going to be committed to the tandem.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh's going to do not a 1A 1B. Although if you look, like, Skinner had a pretty fantastic year in 22-23, and that's when he played 50 games, and Campbell played around 30.
Oh, the good old days with Jack Campbell.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of those things where I think that Skinner could be a really solid tandem goalie. That being said, I mean, if Ullmark comes back and actually, really ignites the Senators to be good, then he could be great. Now, it's just with the rumors, we haven't really gotten into that side of it yet. I mean, there are crazy rumors. You could look it up about the Senators. I don't think any of it's true. We don't need to start talking about it. But when it comes down to it, with Ullmark, it's going to be like, if it is bad vibes, like in the locker room, that even the best players can't really make it past that. So that's where I'm worried. Stuart Skinner, it seems like it's a really good situation for him bouncing back. I actually like right now I got 3 goalies. I got Bussy, I got Wallstedt, and I got Skinner. To me, I think like Skinner's not the one I'm dropping next, it feels. If I have to drop one, I'm going to kind of ride it out while things are decent. And yeah, I mean, for that reason, like I would still say like it's a really close conversation between the two, which is nice because I just picked up in our deep league Skinner off free agency. So it goes to your point. I know they're kind of intertwined, but hey, this is 2 goalies with pretty opposite situations right now. I actually will say I think Skinner's good now. I think it's going to be nice. I don't think he's going to fall off and just be horrible, but I still think it's going to be a tandem situation. It totally is, but I'm actually yeah, he's not going to be as good as he's been over the last 3-4 games, but I still think he could hover around like a 9.05, which is way better than he's been for over the past 2 years, and that's looking like the Penguins' best goalie start right now.
For me, I think it's a very fluid situation, and that he could go from being really good to really bad. And while it's good, you ride it or you try to sell him for a more consistent option. And that's kind of my take with Stuart Skinner right now. But I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's get into the mailbag questions.
We got a lot of questions, guys, so let's try to blow through these.
Yes, Sedated Sleeper on Reddit asked, what's going on with Anaheim and specifically Dostal? There's been some hope that he'd be a good second goalie for your fantasy team. He started off strong, but he's been terrible since returning from injury. Is there any point in holding on to him in a 12-team league with the goalie cats of wins, goals against average, save percentage, and shutouts? Very similar to what we've got, but we have a 14-man league, and he's rostered, but not really rosterable. Look, I think the Ducks are going to bounce back. That's just kind of like what I will say. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be good. I think they'll just score a lot more. So in a 12-team league, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, we touched on this on a recent Hot Topics episode with just the Ducks in general. I think most of them are buy lows right now. They're not going to be as good as they were earlier in the season when we were telling you to sell high on them. They're not going to be as bad as they've been over the last month. Dostal himself, in a 12-team league, I feel like the odds are there's probably a better goalie on the waivers, or I'd use that spot to stream. So if it's me, I'm cutting bait, and I'm streaming, like, if you can pick up like a Jet Reaves or a John Gibson or I mean, stream the matchups. Like, I feel like at this point, it's probably better to do that. He's lost tremendous trade value, and I wouldn't feel bad. It just depends on the alternatives that are on waivers. Like, if your teams are all hoarding goalies and there's only like backups on waivers, clearly not cutting him. So if you have, if you want to know like actual names, you can message us on the Discord and we'll answer that. But in general, like at this point, I want guys that are contributing to my fantasy team. And even though I think the Ducks will bounce back, I don't feel bad about cutting the goalie if there's alternatives.
Yes, well said. I agree. Intelligent Invite 3 on Reddit asked, in a categories league, does Heineman still have value or should I drop him? Podkolzin is available and I'm wondering if I should make the swap. So right there, if Podkolzin's kind of the guy you're thinking about, it means that you're in like a somewhat deep league. Okay, so that's sort of the context I'm taking away from this. But if you'd like, you could join the Discord and maybe provide a little bit more context to the amount of teams and roster guys. But look, for me, the way I see this, I would way rather Heineman than Podkolzin. The shots hits have been consistent all year. Perhaps it's nice to get like caught up in the hype that he's playing with Draisaitl, but I still don't think that's going to really reflect so amazingly. I'm going to say that if you're in a deep enough league that Podkolzin is the guy that you're thinking to replace Heineman with, then I would just rather keep Heineman and enjoy the shots hits combo, even though the points have definitely gone down.
Yeah, I mean, similar take. I think this just makes me think like you're asking basically, is Heineman worth a streaming spot or not? And I think there's better days ahead for Heineman when Bo Horvat comes back. Like he's been missing time, and I mean that's a huge crucial loss at Islanders top six. And I think Heineman really would benefit from Horvat's presence. And he's just been a beast in the shots and hits. Like he's been one of the best power forward archetypes. The points have been scarce, right? But like if you're dropping for a guy like Podkolzin, I'm not expecting Podkolzin to get points either. So at that point, I'd just rather hold the way better banger in Heineman. Does that mean he's, above any kind of streamer guy? Doesn't mean that. It just means that for Podkolzin, I'd rather Heineman. And it depends on who's available. Like if the next waiver wire hotness, like if a Ryan Leonard isn't available, like would I take the chance on Ryan Leonard with the power play one production there? I potentially would. So it depends who's available in your league, but I think Heineman is a great hold for the moment. And yeah, the points may not be here right now, but when Horvat comes back, I think they take up.
Yeah, it's absolutely league dependent. That's it, though. I mean, look, if Leonard's there, pick him up. But if Podkolzin is sort of, one of your top options, that's a pretty deep league. Like I'm keeping Heineman there because the shots hits combo, and also important context, bangers league.
Yeah,
Not that I value
this is for sure a
Podkolzin.
bangers league.
Yeah, not that I value Podkolzin tremendously in a points league, but it's like somewhat of a conversation, perhaps. But in a bangers league, to me, Heineman easy.
All right, next question.
Hate this one. Not actually. It's a very good question, but still. Ninja Bob Dog on Discord asked, "What are the second half expectations for Macklin Celebrini? Can he continue on this ridiculous pace?" Okay. First of all, love the guy, hate the guy, love the guy, because he was so good for me all year, and I traded him, with this exact same thought process in mind. I'm like, look, can he really keep this up? Now, for context, I think just to quickly touch on the trade, the crux of it was Matthews for Celebrini. Obviously, Matthews has this elite pedigree of being an incredible player for years in the NHL, and Celebrini is just performing out of his absolute mind. My worry here for Celebrini is that he can't necessarily do this without the surrounding cast all year. And not to mention the fact, my trade happened before the Olympics, before he got named to the roster. If he can do this as a 19-year-old and go to the Olympics and come back and be, a 1.1 point per game player, that's like truly, truly generational stuff, which is hard to bet on. So my take on the season, he's at 1.56 points per game. I think it's going to end up in the 1 point, he'll go forward, moving forward, he'll be 1.1 to 1.3. So it is going to go down, which is not saying much because if he hits 1.3, it's still really incredible. So my take is that it's going to regress, but and he'll still end up with 95 to 100 points. But I don't think he's going to end up, with 140.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair point to say.
So, I mean, I think the crux of the question is was answered there. It's just like, do I think he's going to slow down? Yes. Do I think he's still going to be elite? Yes. Do I think you should try to trade him at the absolute high right now and get like a phenomenal first round talent? Yes. If you can get like a Kucherov, a McDavid, a Draisaitl, a McKinnon, even a Makar with the cross position for the D and how valuable that is, I would
How about
consider all
Matthews?
those trades like that. For Matthews, it's definitely closer. You're not giving yourself as much leeway, right? Like I think those other
Yes.
guys are like definitely better. With Matthews, he could be better, but it's definitely closer. So if you have Celebrini right now, do your due diligence and try to get one of those guys. It might not be in a 1-for-1, obviously, because those guys are also extremely good. So it might be a 2-for-2 package where you're paying a little bit of an addition there, but the fact that you're able to reach that level is great. I just think that it's very ambitious for a player like this on a team like this to sustain this level of production for the rest of the season. Do I think he's going to get close to 100 points or over 100 points? Yes. So I would not trying to ship him off my roster absolutely, but I'm definitely knowing that he's going to slow down inevitably.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, if he continues on this pace, he's basically getting like 125 points. Like, that's just very likely not going to happen. But even if he ends up with 100, you're happy. It's still a great pace. So, yeah, like that is the really Matthews is the low end of what I'd consider selling him for. And even at
Yeah.
that, the Sharks have a better playoff schedule. It's nice in the week 21 to 23 that they have 4 games in the finals. So
Yeah.
that's also worth mentioning. Anyway, hopefully Matthews keeps it up and does what Celebrini's been doing. Okay, next question. Late Night Pasta 617 on Discord asks, I just traded Mark Stone for JT Miller because of his unreal playoff schedule. Did I overpay? I like the JT side of this. I know you're a Stone fan. I know you're a Stone guy. I think that we've been talking about the Rangers a lot. I feel like the New York Rangers just in general are a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
But JT, you're still getting super reliable peripheral categories with the points upside. I think it's a good trade.
Does it change your mind if it's not like a bangers league with hits?
You mean if it's just a points league?
Yeah.
Maybe I'd take Stone there. Yeah, I think.
Because if I recall, I think Late Night Pasta, he's been super active in the Discord, so shout out. But I think this was a points league. I do understand the concept of trading for the playoff schedule, and JT was a guy that we've been saying to target. I do believe, though, however, that Mark Stone is also really good, and like he's on my number one villain list. Like he's done so much harm to my fantasy team over the years, that he's the type of player that I want on my team and not against my team. So I do think there's a realistic possibility that JT is better. Especially come playoff time, who you'd rather have on your team is super close. But I do think that you gave yourself little margin of error to, lose this trade. I feel like it could easily go wrong with how good Stone is and how sustainable his production has been the whole year. I feel like you traded him at the absolute max and probably could have got JT for cheaper. But I'm not going to say it's an L. I'm just saying it's probably a trade that I wouldn't have done, or I would have tried to get JT plus.
Yeah, looking at points league, I guess it changes it, but I still don't think you're gonna be like upset about this. It's definitely not like you got ripped off by any means. But
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean, right now Stone's on
It's super
pace for
close.
96 points. So.
Yeah, it's super close. There's no clear winner right now, but I think you definitely gave up the better player in the moment, hoping for the bounce back, and the bounce back is super ambiguous right now. That's why I think even with the better playoff schedule, it might not have been worth it.
Yeah. All right. Next, JD Whale on Discord asked, "What's the deal with Dahlin? Should I avoid him in trades?" I like buying low on Dahlin. I think you do too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Dahlin's a buy low. He's still like a top 5 defenseman in my mind. There's very few names that I'd rather ahead of him. It's like Makar, Bouchard, Werenski, and probably Quinn Hughes. And those are the only names that I 100% want over Dahlin rest of the season. Then it's probably close between him and Sider. But besides that, I'm holding. Yeah, not much more to say for Dahlin. I know it hasn't been exceptional, but I think he's a buy low.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough because he's done badly when he's done really well in the past when Buffalo's done not well. Now Buffalo's doing better than they have been in recent years, and he's not doing so well. But I think he's definitely still a target in trades.
Yep.
Shepherd Commander on Discord asked, in a categories league with 2 goalie slots, how many goalies do you hold? If your goalie tanks your raid stats early in the week, do you stream More starts to go after the volume categories. I hold 2 usually. I hate holding 3. I currently have 3, and it's not fun. And then I mean, it really depends like what you can win here, but oftentimes if I need the goalie start, I try to hold my last ad for Saturday and pick up someone playing on the Sunday.
Yeah, in 2 goalie slots, I usually hold 2, sometimes 3, but it's never permanent. And if my goalie tanks my goalie stats early in the week, I think I just have to evaluate the situation. Like, does my opponent have already 3 goalies, and I know I'm not going to get good, I'm not going to win the volume stats anyways. I'm not going to try to win a battle that's futile, right? Like, you gotta take your losses and move on, and maybe try to win more of the skater cats and stream there. But also, like, one game early in the week doesn't necessarily cook your stats for the whole week, right? Like, you can make it up with better play after that. So
Yeah.
I don't hate picking up a goalie to try to make up the difference after. It just depends on how your opponent's situation is. Like, maybe they also have a goalie that pooped the bed early in the week, or they only have 2 goalies and you really can make a difference with volume. It's contextual, but I don't hate the process.
Yeah, there's no real right answer to this. It's totally situational, but I like what you said, Kevin, that like a really bad game to start off really doesn't cook you for the
No,
week. Like you could still
depends how bad the
succeed.
game is, but with enough volume, you can make up for it.
Yeah. All right. FV Town 714X on Discord asked, "How many D-men should I be holding? Only as many as the D slots I have or more." I also think this is sort of dependent on how you built your team. If you got a face-off, like let's say you're in a face-off wins league, it's understandable that let's say your extra guys would be guys to get you face-offs. That's the situation with us. But more or less, I would say that you should be holding 1 extra D than the amount that you have in. And the reason being is I find that oftentimes, your forwards are almost full, yet you still have an open D slot. So I like holding 1 extra D-man than there are to play. If you have a util, that also creates a whole other thing. But let's just keep it simple. You have 4 D slots. I like to hold 5 defensemen.
Yeah, depends how shallow your league is or how deep your league is, but in general, I agree with JK. I think if you have 4 slots, I'm holding 4D, and just see how deep your league is. Like, our league is so deep that you never have any issue starting all your forwards. But I know in a lot of leagues out there, depending on the size of them, like oftentimes your forwards will be full and your defensemen will be empty. So I think having an extra D slot gets you more games throughout the week and probably better value as well. That's why in leagues like that, I usually tend to try to get better defensemen on my team early in the draft, because I know I'll be happy with the forward depth that's available on waivers compared to the defenseman depth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like really hard to pick up a defenseman right now. So if you right now hold 5D and they're all rosterable, I wouldn't like be trying to necessarily flip one for a forward of similar caliber. Like it's very valuable because it gets super dry as the season goes on.
Mhm.
JD Whale on Discord asked, "When you have 2 goalies playing each other, do you always play both to guarantee the win, or do you sit one?" Good question. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, I have a clear answer for this one. I do not always play the 2 goalies playing each other. You're playing a game. I mean, obviously, with goalies, it's always contextual, situational. But in general, if you have 3 goalies and 2 of them are playing each other, I will tend to, depends where we are in our matchup as well, but I will tend to play the 2 goalies that are not playing each other, because you have the opportunity to get 2 wins, as opposed to, you're only going to get 1 win max with playing the 2 goalies that play each other. So it's an upside play, and you kind of always want to play for that upside. Now, if you're in your matchup and you're leading and it's Saturday, and you need 1 win to like cement that category, then you play the 2 goalies that play each other, right? But
Yeah.
in general, I like playing for the upside and the optimal scenario. But I like evaluating goalie situations as they come, and usually I'm playing the 2 goalies that do not play each other.
Yeah, if there's like 3 goalies playing, 2 of them are playing each other, and then one's playing another team. Look, if third goalie is playing
Like, they're playing,
Colorado,
yeah,
I mean, then I'm probably just playing the 2 guys playing each other, right?
yeah,
But barring, that situation, I would definitely like to try to just play the one that I think is going to win, and then the other guy.
yep.
Francis on Discord asked, "What are your thoughts on gatekeeping fantasy hockey resources? If you find a great resource like Banger Management, do you avoid telling league mates so you have an edge?" No, tell everybody. Only about Banger Management, though. Okay. So I think that when it comes down to this, and I know you'll have a lot of thoughts on this too,
Mhm.
but I will say that a, a good a good way to think about this is like I like to think of our football league where
Mhm.
everyone listens to podcasts, you know?
Yeah.
That being said, you know, we we consistently have good teams, right? It's not because you necessarily listen more or listen less. It's just like it doesn't really give your opponent that much more of an advantage if you just tell them about the podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely
Yeah.
helps, but some people just think of fantasy differently. Like you can tell your league mates about it, but maybe they're not going to be as active listeners as you are, right? It really all depends on how you actually approach it. We give a lot of value on the podcast, I hope. And also through the Discord, it's great communicating with you guys. I've told league mates though in the past, let's say about the fantasy footballers, and I've still done better than they have because like I listen to it, let's say more rigorously and I pay more attention. So that's kind of my take, is that you can definitely tell your league mates about the resources that you use, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're cooked if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, obviously you want to always have an edge, and by finding podcasts and people that you trust and reliable information, you're giving yourself an edge in fantasy hockey. But we also want to have fun too. And to me, like I know that, I've shared resources with Jakey in the past that we compete each other in football like every year, right? Like
Yeah.
fantasy footballers, late round fantasy with JJ Zacharyson and all these good guys that we love
Yeah.
consulting. So and it's super fun to talk about, like, hey, did you listen to this recent episode? Like, what do you
Yes.
think? And like having that discussion. So I think it can add an element of fun to your league and to your fantasy hockey life with being able to talk about it with your friends. But also, I completely understand. Also, want to keep the edge for yourself if you're really in a tough league and you don't have that camaraderie with your league mates as well already. That you know. But if
Yeah.
you're asking this question because you have people you want to share it with, but you don't want to lose your edge, and I'd say, like, honestly, like I don't feel bad either way. If you want to tell them about it in the off season, go ahead. But we'll be happy if the community grows throughout the year.
Yeah, that's it. And that's actually a really good point. It adds to it a lot. Like when we started talking about, listening to the footballers, and there are times. I mean, even here, like to give a
Hmm.
good example, like basically Brandon Hagel was your signature pick, and that got me
Yeah,
super high on Brandon Hagel. And then I picked
yeah,
Brandon Hagel,
yeah.
and he's done super duper well for me. But you're well ahead of me in the standings right now. You're like 3 spots ahead of me. So it's not as if like I took your advice, which was good advice, and then you still had to pivot because you had conviction of other guys that we spoke about on the podcast.
Hmm.
Pick them, and now you're doing very well, and I'm
Yeah.
doing well too. It's just to say that there's no like exact recipe for success, and like if you tell other people in your league about us or about other resources you use, it's going to enhance the experience overall, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Joshua Fearon on Discord asks, how often do people use the wrong Discord channel to ask questions, and how much does it annoy you guys? I'll let you answer this one.
Yeah, I'm in the Discord 24/7. I will say the biggest thing that I see in the Discord is that, like, almost nobody uses the keeper channels and the dynasty channels. Like, people just ask the keeper questions, dynasty questions in like the regular in-season channels. So I mean, it doesn't frustrate me at all. It's just about, like, I'm a little bit of an OCD person, so I like things to be organized. But I also love answering questions, interacting with everybody. So I don't hate it. But I saw this question come in the mailbag, and it gave me a little chuckle because it's funny that other people are noticing when people ask questions in the wrong channel. But if you do that, don't feel bad at all. Like, but it's just funny.
Yeah. All right. Genome on Discord asks, what are your way too early first round predictions for next year in a 12-team league? Does Macklin Celebrini crack the top 12? Are Kaprizov, Brady, Tkachuk, Rantanen, Matthews still first round guys? All right.
Yeah.
I think he cracks the top 12. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's done enough
100%.
already to solidify that. I mean, McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon should be the top three in pretty much any league, and then I think
Mm-hmm.
Kucherov should be fourth, and in points leagues maybe even top three, but in bangers league let's just say fourth. So that's pretty much the top four. Then in our league it was Matthews went fifth, and then Brady went sixth. So that's I guess where things start being interesting. What it's gonna look like.
I can
I
tell you what it's
mean,
gonna look like.
all right.
It's
What do you
it's gonna
think?
be McDavid, McKinnon 1 and 2, Draisaitl, Kucherov 3, 4. Then it's going to be Matthews 5, Pasta will be 6, Makar will be 7, Kaprizov will be 8, and then after that we get into probably Rantanen, Celebrini, like they're going to be there. That's like top 9-ish there. I think Jack Hughes will be in the conversation. If people, but on the lower end, like I think people will value him highly, but be scared. There's usually always a goalie that ends up there. Will it be Hellebuck again? Probably not. Might be Vasilevsky again next year. And then we're talking about like the guys like Quinn Hughes, and I think it's going to be like a top 10, and then a cusp of other guys. Maybe Crosby sneaks back in there.
Yeah. So you do think that
I think
Matthews goes?
Celebrini is going to be for sure first round pick. I mean, the order I said is subject to change, obviously, but the names are going to be there nonetheless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if there are any other, like Celebrini is definitely the guy that comes to mind that ends up in that top 12, and depending on how he does rest of the season, Bedard before the injury kind of is earning that spot.
And I didn't mention Brady because if it's a bangers league, if your league has hits, Brady will be a first round pick. He deserves it. If your league doesn't have hits, then he's not a first round pick. I think that's kind of where I land. But there's like I think 10 or 11 guys that are a tier ahead of everybody else, and I would hate to have that 12th pick.
Yeah, and Celebrini is definitely.
Yeah, Celebrini is for sure in there.
So, and you said Kaprizov is too?
Yeah, Kaprizov for sure.
All right, cool. So not too much change, but Celebrini is definitely, and really, I would not be surprised if Bedard is the 12th.
Honestly, with how well he's played this season, and if maybe they make a big move in the offseason.
Absolutely. Okay. AWilts93 on Discord asked, with Robertson sign and trade rumors going around, would you guys as Habs fans do Juraj Slafkovsky plus a first-round pick for Robertson? Okay.
This is a real NHL question, not a fantasy question.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. I would say that I'd rather have Slav in a first over Robertson because even though I think Robertson's got first of all, I'm excited to hear what our Dallas Stars fans have to say in the Discord about this. It's going to be really fun to
We have a lot
about.
of Dallas fans. Shout out Kara, shout out Jordary.
Yes, this is good. So I think, first of all, if you got to pay the first in addition to that, that's going to be really, really tough for me to think about. I think that Slav has done so well this year. He's made real strides. Now, is he as elite of a player as Robertson? No. He brings a new, like a dynamic, though, to the Canadians that I think would be, is almost as valuable as what Robertson can bring. Not to mention the fact that he's still super young. So to me, I'm keeping Slav in a first over Robertson for sure.
Same for me.
Yeah. What about if it's just Slav for Robertson? I have to ask.
Just Slav for Robertson? Probably give me Robertson.
You're taking Robertson?
I think so.
I get it. It's just, it's
but we have a Robertson in like a Caulfield. So Slav is kind of like a different type of player that can bring maybe a different dynamic that is maybe more valuable. But I think Robertson is a safer play for a guy that can contribute to points on the team. So.
Yes, which I definitely think for their whole careers, like Slav's not going to get 100 points like Robertson can, but they're, this is just specific for the Habs. I think I'd rather just keep Slav. But if I'm starting a team from scratch, I'm picking Robertson. Let me be very clear.
Fair.
But I think that they're building the system well, and Slav fits into it. So that's my answer. Joshua Firon on Discord asked, what are realistic NHL trades you think will happen before the deadline, and how will that impact fantasy value? Include both sides of the trade if you can.
I can zoom through these if you want. Like both sides of the trade will be difficult. I don't want to project that much. We could spend a whole podcast episode talking about that. But the guys that I feel like are almost assuredly getting traded or maybe get traded, I think the big ones are going to be Nazem Kadri. He's on the Calgary Flames right now and he's out of form. I think he does get traded to a team that needs a center come trade deadline. I think Calgary's a seller. And I think his value goes up. Right now his deployment is really good on Calgary, but the production is not there. I think he might go to a better situation. On Calgary as well, Rasmus Andersson, his name has been in trade talks the whole year. Now as Calgary falls out of the picture, I think he's going to be a coveted asset for a team that's competing. He can be a power play quarterback, but he's also just a really good defenseman. I think his value, honestly, his value has potential to go down depending on the team, but it could also go up if he's the main power play quarterback on the team that he goes to. Dougie Hamilton, we talked about it. Panarin, if the Rangers really fall out, he would be like maybe the spiciest guy getting traded.
Yeah.
And we talked about Kiefer Sherwood. He feels like he's on the way out. Absolutely, they're holding him out of games right now because it feels like a trade is inevitable, and his value absolutely goes down once he gets traded, and that's why he was a sell high target on our recent buy low sell high episode.
Yeah. Stamkos too.
Stamkos, I think Marchessault for sure is getting traded too,
Yeah.
and his value I feel like can't go down. So whatever team he goes to, he hopefully ends up in the top 6 with a power play 1 spot. I think it's most likely top 6 power play 2, depending where he goes. Like he might go to the Habs. If he goes to the Habs, he's not on power play 1. So there's so many names that we could talk about. I think those are the main ones.
Yep. Okay, Waffle5 Tomper on Discord asked, if your league goes until the last week of the season, is it worth it? Is it worth avoiding top players on top teams since they may get rested? I think it's one of those things that definitely wouldn't avoid if you're talking about the draft. Like I'm still taking, the McDavid, McKinnon to the 1 and 2 type thing. But as the season goes on, like would I want to trade for like I can trade away those guys if I'm getting like an incredible, let's say, return on a team that may be on the cusp of competing. Like if you could trade away McDavid for, and this is without knowing the week 24 schedule off by heart, but for like a Matthews plus Jarvis, it could be kind of interesting, and I don't think it's impossible to do a deal like that. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think absolutely the guys that, first of all, don't already have a great week 24 schedule. If I can make a lateral move to a team that I know is going to be competing, that there's less chances of those guys getting arrested, I would make the moves. Because we see it every year. There's a reason why playoffs in most competitive leagues end in week 23. Is because that week 24 is crazy. Like it's, first of all, it's a week and a half, so we have like teams that play like 6-7 games, and then 6-7, and then we also
I was really hoping you gloss over it.
Yeah. I say it that I have to do it. And these guys get arrested every year. We see it. Like we saw last year, we saw the Draisaitl's get arrested. So it's really tough, and I would definitely be looking to make a move. But the thing is, you also never know. So it's such an ambiguous situation. First of all, in the future, save yourself, make your week championship week before last week of the season. But to answer your question as well, yes, I'm definitely taking it into account and definitely trying to move off. But I'm not trying to take a huge discount just to avoid my guy potentially getting arrested. If I could do a lateral move to a safer option, I would do it though.
Yeah, a lateral move, like I mean, it's tough. Like depends, because like the ones that are going to get sat, would be the top guy. So it is a little bit tricky, I would say. But yeah, I mean that's the ideal. Or if you can just get some value that's couldn't be similar, maybe a little low key. Like the one I mentioned, like I think is a different thing where it's like you're trading a lower tier first round pick guy you're trading away a higher tier one for a lower tier one and getting a really, really amazing plus. That could be an option. But definitely moving forward, end your leagues in week 23. Waffle5 Tomper also on Discord asked, how much value do you give up for a better playoff schedule? Are you willing to trade down to improve your schedule? For example, Kaprizov versus Bratt. Like, to me, that's way too big of a discrepancy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I answered this in the Discord, so I feel like Waffle's number already has his answer, but yeah. So quickly on this one, I definitely would be willing to take a discount, but it's always there's tiers and there's thresholds, and like Kaprizov to Bratt would be too big of a threshold. I think 3 games of Kaprizov is worth just as much as 4 games of Bratt, and he could be even better, right? So definitely looking to improve, and it's more of those like middle guys that I'm looking to make the tier down to for the better playoff schedule, because that's when guys are more comparable in statistics and the quantity can really make a difference. But with the super elite guys, I don't really like doing that in general.
Yeah. Okay, Brian on Discord asks, I just acquired Adam Fox. Would you choose him as a keeper for the next year over Reinhart, Dahlin, Bouchard, or Gunther? I guess small caveat, it really depends. Like if it's like a round to round thing, you know what I mean? Like if
I don't think it's a round to round thing.
So it's just simple keeper. So
just simple keeper.
I'm probably taking all of these guys over Adam Fox.
I think for me, the only one that's close is Gunther. I think we expect a lot of good things for Gunther this year and next year. And but the value from having the defenseman that gives you that amount of points is also up there. So for me, for sure, Reinhardt, Dahlin, Bouchard are cemented as my keepers, and then it's close between Gunter and Fox. If you don't want to have 3 defenseman keepers, maybe that gives you the edge to Gunter, but I think that's where the value is closest. I do like Fox better, though. I think just the defenseman and the production from that position is just too good.
I think Gunther could be super good. The shots are great.
He
That's
could
why
be.
I'm
Yeah,
choosing him.
he could be elite.
But, yeah. Pantalonic on Discord asks, how do you guys plan on dealing with answering questions / giving advice when it comes to the upcoming community leagues? Well, this kind of ties into the to Francis's question, about gatekeeping fantasy hockey resources. We're definitely going to continue the podcast, be active in the Discord. And when it comes down to it, I think what Kevin said is that it's really just about having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the community leagues are going to be, exactly like the Banker Management League of Record that we've been playing in for over a decade. It's going to be the same setting, so it's going to be fun to see everybody else compete in those leagues, and we're going to be in those leagues too. And we're still finding out the structure of how we want to make the community leagues, because we definitely want it to be like a tier-based system and like relegation moving up and down. I think that could be really cool. Nothing is set in stone as of right now, but still going to be giving advice to everybody. And evening the playing field. Obviously, everybody will know what our opinion is, and hopefully that helps a lot of you guys out in the community, but nothing is changing on our end. Everybody's getting the same advice, and may the best man win.
I'm excited to see, or woman, there you go. I'm excited to see how this is gonna go with the mailbag questions next year when the you know what I mean? It's like
I mean, maybe also like next season we're most likely going to have a Patreon, and we've had a lot of requests for that, and maybe that's where we're able to give more personalized content specific to the banger leagues, where maybe you're asking a question and everybody else in your league is also listening, and that's maybe that's the crux of your question right here. So if you maybe we'll figure out a system that works best, but we're going to do our best to keep some of the information private. Obviously, we can't answer everything in the DMs, so we'll have to see what's the best way to go about that. But everybody's getting advice if you want it.
Yeah. So Jordary likes asking these type of questions.
Yep.
So Jordary on Discord asks, would you rather have to draft Ryan Reaves with the first overall pick or Matt Rempe? And let me just preface this with saying that last week he asked if the first overall pick, would you rather Stuart Skinner or Tristan Jarry? So
he's on fire.
He likes making us answer these tough questions. Probably for me, like this. This is just, I don't even know. Maybe Ryan Reaves, I guess.
But the playoff schedule, though, Rempe on the Rangers.
All right, fine.
Nah. Thanks, Jordary, for this question, but it's got to be Ryan Reaves for me, just because I think he's just in the lineup. Like, Rempe is not always in the lineup, and I want consistent production. I don't want my first-round pick to be scratched every other game. So
yeah, that's it. So I think we're both going Ryan Reaves, and the alliteration, can't go wrong.
Extra bonus.
Last but not least, Sheridan on Discord asked, what are we thinking with Hedman when he comes back with the way Raddysh is playing?
Hedman has been a topic of conversation, to say the least, over the last couple months. Raddysh is on fire, guys. This guy is playing out of his mind, first of all, and it's so funny because he's playing out of his mind and the team doesn't want to pay him, because even they know it might just be a one-hit wonder. So my take is that I think he's playing so well and didn't want to mess things up, that even when Hedman comes back, like, Raddysh had power play 1 before Hedman left injured, right? But maybe he had it because Hedman was banged up and knew he couldn't play at his full potential. I'm still of the mind that if Hedman wants power play 1, he'll get power play 1. Like, if he's just like, I want it, I'm going to have it, they'll probably have to do that for him. But Raddysh is playing so well that I think if the team has any say in it, they're going to lean with the guy that's been producing for them while he's been out. So if I have Hedman, he has little to no trade value right now. He's just an IR stash. I do like acquiring him as an IR stash, but if you're paying, similar value, right? Like, I'm not giving anything of consequence to get him on my roster. And if I'm a Hedman owner, I'm pretty worried. I think the sentiment is negative, because I think the odds that Raddysh keeps the job are high. But if you have conviction that you think that Hedman is going to take it when he comes back, then this is an opportunity to truly, truly buy low, and I don't hate that.
I think Raddysh keeps it. But obviously, like, it's still
he's been doing so well.
Yeah, I know. I think Raddysh is going to keep it, and I still think that it is a buy low for Hedman. I mean, he'll have way less value on power play 2.
If he's on PP2, I don't want him on my roster.
Period. Like at all. It's just because like I don't know how
I'd rather have
consistent
no
it would
adoption.
Yeah, I just don't know how consistent it's necessarily going to be, though. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, Raddysh is going to be power play 1. It could still be somewhat fluid, though. Therefore, if you can, trade away really not much for Hedman, cool. But I still think Raddysh is going to keep it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough. But
we give our best projection, but at the end of the day, like Tampa is a team that is also very secretive, so we won't know until he comes back and we see what happens. But we give our best guess, and I think both of our best guesses are Raddysh probably keeps the job.
That's it. Thank you to everybody for joining us, for listening to our Week 15 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. Subscribe on YouTube and give this video a like if you enjoyed. Also, you could follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. The socials are in the podcast description. And be sure to join the Discord community. A lot of fun questions came from there also.
I'll just say almost all these questions were from the Discord. So if you have one that you want to hear it on the podcast, join the Discord. And last mention, do not forget to join the DobberHockey Giveaway. The mid-season 2026 guide is on sale right now. And if you're in the banker management community, you have the chance to win a copy. All you got to do, like I said before, join the Discord, subscribe on YouTube. And once those 2 things are done, there's a giveaway channel in the Discord. All you got to do is write Dobber in there, and you're entered. 1 entry for everybody. We roll the prize on Sunday, January 18th in the evening. So the cutoff is 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you enter before then. And then Monday, we will announce all the winners. So good luck to everybody. And see you on the next episode, I guess.
For those who it's Dobber.
Yes.
Just to clarify.
They know Dobber.
You all probably know that already.
If you misspell it, you're still in. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But if you have a different word, you're not in. So
that's it. Okay, should I take it away?
You can take it away, Ernie.
Now, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo!
Nice.
Woo for Josh, who will be here on the next episode. Yay!
Yes.